Hello and welcome to the Churros y Tácticas Podcast, brought to you by Manscaped. It's holiday season and you don't know what to get as a gift or a stocking stuffer? Well, today's sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools to guarantee you win. This year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition, Manscaped is the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. By the way, it's Black Friday. So instead of 20% off, you get 25% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code CHURROS. With only 2 R's. I rolled too many R's there. It's just CHURROS. CHURROS. Guess who had a big week in their career? They interviewed, well, we can span, it's like more like in the last 2 weeks or so, but Diego Lorijn has interviewed Andres Iniesta, Dani Alves, Pau Gasol. Who did I miss? Bojan Krkic, who's now a co-worker of yours. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
So
Fabio Quartararo, the new MotoGP champion.
Oh, cool. I don't know anything about that sport, but that sounds pretty cool. So how do you, do you have to manscape every day before all these interviews? Are you able to function without that?
No. It's an absolute must. It's vital. Otherwise, these interviews do not go smoothly. Everything's got to be smooth as butter, So there's no skipping days. It's like, exercise days. You can't skip it. Can't skip leg days. Can't skip shaving balls days. Otherwise, it just ruins your day. And things don't go smoothly. Gotta do it.
You got to keep the going that smooth. Listeners get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code CHURROS. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped. All right. Sponsors done with. We can talk about some football. So,
Fujibol.
You had a big week in the Champions League.
What's going on, man? First of all, let me jump in here real quick because I feel like I haven't seen your face in too long. You, judging by the backdrop, Kiyan is in another part of town. This is home?
I just left my office. I needed a change of scenery. My office is in the basement, and there's a couple windows, but there's more natural light up here, so I like working up here sometimes. So, but I just have to carry my microphone up, and so I just set up. But I like working up here.
You want to get out of the dungeon.
Yeah. Since
you shaved your balls and all, you feel comfortable leaving the pit.
When I shave my balls, I can do anything I want. I'm basically walking on water.
You know it. Well, it's good to see you again. Sorry for our listeners, of course, for having missed out on Monday's pod. It's been manic. It's been, again, one of those weeks where you don't know if you have enough time to actually get through the day and get everything done that needs to get done. And one of those things was churros that kept being postponed from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday. By Thursday, when that rolled around, it was, we got the Friday pod coming up. Even though, our thoughts have been with our viewers, of course. And again, our apologies for not coming to you guys sooner and missing out on Monday. Here we are on Friday. We have a ton to get through. Obviously, we have Champions League action left, right, and center, drama over in the Champions League, and on several sides for the Spanish teams in particular. It's been not a good week in that sense, except for Real Madrid, who strolled around comfortably, letting the new sheriff in town know that, hey, we're still the big bad old boys and not that easy to take down. So we have that to get through. We have what else? I mean, obviously a whole bunch of polemica, controversy as well surrounding statements and coaches going. It's been a busy week, Kiyan. Zizou is going to end up in PSG. Pochettino and Man U, or maybe not. No, this is not going to happen.
No, Zidane's not going to go to PSG.
Okay. So that's all off. Okay. Well, we do have tons of other. I tell you what, and yeah, you shut that one down. Well, I tell you what though, what's really surprised me was that last time we spoke, and that's why I feel so much time has passed, is you brought up the Molina reports, of which nothing has been said, and no media outlets have picked up any of these reports, even though some were dating back to obviously January from this year, etc. It's been sort of a work and a process in the making of revealing these horrific stories. But ever since you brought it to my attention, because again I bring it up because I didn't know about it before, and I thought this is gonna blow up. This is gonna be one of those like Superliga news events. And it just fizzled out. I haven't heard anything about it.
it fizzled out for whatever reason. And I don't really want to get into it now, but basically,
But it's surprising.
It's
That's what I'm getting
it's
to.
probably for a reason because it comes from someone, and only one person, right? And I think any publication has to be very, very careful to publish something like that without having done their own research, and to just simply quote someone. And even his own paper, he works for The Guardian, hasn't even published anything about it.
Well,
And,
but let's. I'm talking about all the reports. I'm talking
of it.
about
Yeah, yeah.
no, but the Guardian has published several stories or
Right.
reports about the abuse in
I
federations.
guess I'm
etc.
speaking about the whole Furlan
The
Mendy
Mendy,
specifically.
right. Yes. Well, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because again, it seems like that. I felt like that was just gonna stop sports and federations and football and
Yeah.
cause a world storm, and it hasn't at all. None of this. So, Champions League is come and go. We got a lot to get through, and let's not beat around the bush any longer. Where do you want to start, my friend? I guess over in Can Barça is what you've been having your eyes set on, because you must be pretty happy that Barça will be playing Europa League in a couple of weeks' time.
It's kind of bittersweet because it's like no matter how much more interesting footballing topics there are, Barcelona seems to always be the most interesting topic for me coming on this Churros podcast. But I will say, like, that maybe that's not true because there are like tactical things to talk about. Xavi's first two games with Barca. I think, and I don't know how Barca fans feel about it because really the only Barca fan I regularly talk to is you. But
If there would be another one you'd speak to more, I'd be offended right now. So
yeah. It's only you, babe.
Good.
I don't know how you feel because again, it feels like we haven't recorded for ages.
Yeah.
So I watched that Benfica game the day after because I was traveling, and I didn't know the score and stayed away from it. So I was like, okay, this is a lot of these issues will persist, Xavi or not. But I did notice that I think there were improvements. There were improvements in the body language, the confidence,
Clearly.
the structure, the offensive build-up, the movement. There just seems to be more direction and more guidance. The fact that the midfielders are closer together, their positioning between the lines are better. The way they build out of the back is better. And it's not like I'm not saying that's like otherworldly, but you can see a vision, you can see a path,
Yeah.
you can see where this might end up a year from now or something, right?
Correct.
Anyways, that aside, because that's not that interesting. When Seferovic was on a breakaway,
Oh my God.
I stood out in my chair. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. Take me to the promised land, baby. Take me. Finish them. And he missed. And I felt like for 1 second, my
that's
soul
funny.
left my body. And then I was like, wait, what? He missed? How did he miss?
Yeah.
I was so disappointed. But hey, I was like, you know what? I don't know. Someone brought up the point that maybe it's a good thing because then they'll end up in Europa League instead of just being out of Europe together, and it'll be fun to see them there. But I don't even know if that's true. Would they have been completely out of everything if that goal went in, or would it?
No.
No. Okay. So, so this is where I wanted to start. It wasn't even with the game. I wanted to ask you a question. Okay. So here I brought up some quotes for you. I have two quotes for you. Okay, because I know you'll appreciate where I'm going with this.
Excuse me.
So. Oh,
That's
man,
so funny.
should
I
have
could
this quote.
imagine you sitting there looking at the heavens, arms raised, on your knees, just waiting for silence at the Camp Nou as that ball would hit the back of the net. I mean, we were all ready for it. It was just like I was seeing that shit in slow motion, like no, he missed. You see his manager, the coach? Oh my God, he fucking lost his shit.
Yeah,
he attended the press conference even after Xavi Hernandez. He was so heated he couldn't face the press. He was
really?
absolutely beyond himself. Yeah.
So, this first quote is from Rasheed Wallace
Oh, Sheed.
from 2009, I think it was.
Oh man.
This is the famous guaranteed. He says, "I'm guarantee." This is after a game one loss. He says, I'm guaranteeing game two. That's the bottom line, and that's all I'm saying. They will not win game two. When you heard that from me, put it front page, back page, middle of the page, they will not win game 2. Now, this is a quote from, what's today? 26? This is a quote 26. From today, I think. Is it? No, yesterday. Joan Laporta says, I am convinced that we are going to beat Bayern. It is something that can be achieved. There will be a miracle. There will be. Which quote gives you more confidence? Guaranteed or Joan Laporta saying there will be a miracle?
I gotta go with my main, Joan Laporta. I set you up there saying, you must be happy that Barca are playing Europa League in a couple weeks' time. However, deep down inside, man, I'm not gonna lie, that fire that kindles deep in my heart.
That's the Xavi Kool-Aid, man.
That yearning for success and believing in miracles as a culé. After having witnessed a 6-1 remontada, I have got to believe that there somewhere is a chance that this team can go to Munich and beat a Bayern that I pray to God I've got their eyes set upon the biggest game in German football a few days later. Der Klassiker, I think it's called, the Bayern Dortmund. Yep. And I pray to God that what's his name, Flick, will be fielding a couple B players because the Bayern B team not so good. For those of you that haven't been checking out the youth league, check out the youth league. Bayern bottom of the group there. So hey, a man can hope. That's all I got left. And Joan Laporta I believe it's going to be extremely difficult, but gotta believe that there's a chance, man. Gotta believe that all of the stuff that we're seeing, all this optimism and euphoria is obviously too big of a word, but what would be a in-between word between say euphoria and just hype? It's something is there. I mean, I was telling you before we started recording, I was at the training session today. There's an energy, yes, for sure. And we broadcast the first 15 minutes of training sessions before any game, and we do it for the countdown, and we do it for live for Barca TV Plus. So subscribe if this sounds interesting to you. But we were at an arm length distance. For some reason, instead of playing on field 1, Xavi decided to go to field 2, which allowed us to be literally pitch side and, like I said, an arm's length away. And having all of them just up close and personal. And I was telling Robert, I'm like, it's contagious, man. I instantly get in a better mood watching these guys train, have fun, do these drills, team building drills, and also just partaking in practices in a very serious but professional manner, but also with a good energy. And I have to think that all those things, added up, have to equate to some percentage of a chance for us getting through, and that is enough for me to at least be hopeful and believe until the 90 minutes of football have been played on December 8th, and the final result will dictate what Barca's future will be in the short term and moving on this season. I have to believe that there's a chance where we can qualify.
As you should believe. I also felt like if I'm Laporta, I just feel like he could have just ended the quote where he says, we can do it. That's it. That's all you need to say. You don't have to say there will be a miracle, and we're like, you don't have to guarantee anything. I did also find it amusing that Barca on their official website, they had that thing where they put all the scenarios on how we can qualify after this game, and what are if we win, if Benfica do this, Okay. And one of the things they wrote in their website was like, it was something along the lines of like, well, we have a tough task, but Bayern are already qualified, so hopefully,
That's it. It's true, though. You got to hope, look, that the fact that they're qualified, obviously Bayern will love to take any opportunity to beat up on a direct European competitor and continue their bragging rights that they have over us over recent games. And so they would love to beat up on us, I'm sure. However, yes, they are already qualified, and they also have their Klassiker coming up against Dortmund a few days later. So,
Yeah. So
take it easy on us.
I unfortunately think that you will qualify.
What?
And I think,
wow.
well,
We always like to do this stuff, these kind of mind
no,
games.
I truly believe it. And the reason is because, and I think it will come down to the fact that they have qualified already. And there was part of me that was like, okay, well, what does their B team look like? Like it's not like you said youth team players, but it's not necessarily going to be.
Yeah, I said youth team. Yes.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
what I
going to be
said.
more
B
than
team.
that.
Right.
Like it, we're talking about the players that they sometimes have on their bench. Sometimes they'll start, but players like Sule and Koeman, who came off the bench against you guys and murdered you guys. Players like Sabitzer, Tolisso, Musiala, they're good players. I just feel like we have seen, and maybe this is an irrational point of view, but we have seen a version of them which is like kind of switched off in a game like against Mönchengladbach, which they got destroyed 5-0. You don't have to even win 5-0. If you win 1-0, you're good to go. So I think a narrow win against a watered down Bayern side who will have, as you said, their eyes set on something else, I think that's totally possible and probably inevitable that they'll find a way to do it. And I don't care, quite frankly, because whether they lose now in the Europa League or against somebody else next round, that's cool with me. It doesn't matter. We're all in this boat together of mediocrity. We're all going to be bouncing out of this competition pretty soon. So take solace. It would be crazy that if Real Madrid were the only Spanish team to qualify for the next round, though. That would worry me. But I think Villarreal will make it. Sevilla can still make it. I think we'll be okay.
I just don't know how much money does the champion of the Europa League get compared to, say, a quarter or semi-finalist in the Champions League?
It's so Europa League is the winner. Hold on, I have to actually just make sure. I have to look it up in a second, but you are right, because it's like, it's about the equivalent to being like a Champions League. I think actually if you win a Champions League, if you get to the Champions League quarterfinal, it might even be even more. So the winners get 8.6 million. The winners of the Europa League get 8.6 million, and the Champions League, you get a group. If you're just in the you get set like that. If you win it, you get a crazy amount. It's like 75 million almost, or something like that. And if you even qualify for the group stages right off the bat, you also get like, I think
20 something,
almost 20 million. Yeah. If you get to the quarterfinals, you get 12.8 million. If you get to the round of 16, 11.6 million. So yeah, that was a long answer, but the shorter answer is, even if you qualify for the round of 16, you still get more money than if you won the entire Europa League.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you guys won Europa League in the past?
Europa League, no. We won the UEFA Cup.
Same. I count it as the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I do personally, because it's basically they just changed the name and a little bit of the format.
Have we won the UEFA Cup? Actually, I think I'm talking on my ass. We definitely won the Recopa, and we talked about this, and our patrons helped us make the distinction between the Recopa and the Cup Winners' Cup, which that's what the Recopa is and all that. I don't think we won the UEFA Cup. No. I think I'm talking on my ass here.
Not even that time when Rivaldo scored that. Oh no, that was.
I was to qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's not a bad idea to just get in there and try to win it.
Well, listen, obviously, if you're playing that competition, you got to go for it. Barca will always have to compete for all titles that they play for.
We'll just leave it there, I guess.
I'll just leave it there. Hey, but having Boyan on the show was fun. Yeah, he Boyan Kirkic. Why are you smiling?
I just I
want to take. I'll leave it on a positive here.
No, I was thinking about Ewan's joke that he made on Twitter, because you were interviewing Boyan Kirkic and you asked about Kobe beef.
Yes.
And Ewan was like,
brought
up Kobe Bryant beef with somebody.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was doubting whether I should get in on that more than I like, because I felt every time Kobe's name is mentioned or any deceased person name is mentioned, and if it has like Bao or I'm all paranoid now that things will come back to haunt me. So if Bao saw me come in and it looks like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
taking
certainly
the
wouldn't do it
Mickey,
on the show. Yeah, I wouldn't do it on the show.
no.
So is
But yeah,
Boyan
Kobe
is
beef.
he full-time staff now?
No, no, no. He's injured, so he's missing the J League. The Japanese league finishes in December,
Okay,
and he's out for at least 8 weeks. So he's going to miss the end of the season. So he came back already
I see.
to Spain to recuperate, and while he's here, he's going to be on Match Center. He'll be back for the Bayern game, for example.
I can't believe he's already 31. That's
He
crazy.
looks so young, man. He still looks like 16. It's incredible.
I knew that he was just basically tapered off and playing somewhere. I didn't even know he was in Japan, or maybe I did. I forgot. But
Uh,
I thought he was still like in his late 20s. I didn't realize he was already 31. It seems like yesterday I remember like he was so promising. I think it was almost 10 years ago now.
yeah.
Maybe more actually, because I'm trying to think what was the timeline, because it was when did he
He
make his debut? It was like around
yeah,
2010 or something, or was it sooner? 2009.
nine, I think. I
Yeah,
think it was nine. But yeah, also, what was he, 16? I think he was as
yeah,
well.
he was super young. Yeah,
Super young, very, very productive in that first year under Pep, playing alongside, your Messis and Xavis and Iniestas and David Villas and Pedritos and things. So, it's look, you gotta, if you're Boyan, you have to be happy with how your career went. I think probably many would have maybe expected more given his explosion onto the scene, but he made his professional living and a good career out of playing football. He traveled the globe. He was even in Canada. He played under Henri in Montreal.
I think I did
So
know that actually. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and now he's in Japan. Another new experience. Still able to maintain. I don't think. He's not married or anything. He's still very, young in that sense. No responsibilities other than caring for himself. So, good on him. And he had some fascinating stories to tell. I just love talking to these kind of players that have, a very, obviously, an incredible vision of the game, and when it comes to their football intellect and their mindset and the way they view things, the way they anticipate things is far beyond the level that I could ever reach, and to hear that and to just sort of soak that in and get a firsthand listen and view, and also just from locker room stories that he tells, it's a privilege. And I could do that all day, man. Just sit there and listen and talk to these guys, because it's fascinating. That
yeah.
truly
Those are the
fascinates me.
moments I imagine that your job gets really rewarding, right? Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
when you get away from some of the behind the scenes stuff, and the fact that you're working
certainly.
with Barca TV and you get to interact with some people like that. I mean, it's certainly like you're like, oh yeah, shit, this is why I'm doing this, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And on top of that, if they're also cool and nice, that's a plus as well. So yeah, it's very humble, very down to earth.
Well, that's great, man. I thought we could also bounce around some of the other La Liga teams in the Champions League.
No, no, that's it. That's it. Thank you very much for tuning in. And remember, keep shaving those balls. 25% off using churros.
25% today for Black Friday.
No, of course, we have to. Which, by the way, we don't need to. Let's talk about the teams first. But I was going to say it sets up a really interesting Villarreal Barça for the weekend as well. The fact that
That's on Sunday.
that's
Oh,
on that's tomorrow. That's
actually.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
That'll be a great game. So I just wanted to say, like, the results in the Champions League for these Spanish teams. I mean, obviously,
Bad.
Sevilla won against Wolfsburg, so that was a plus. But the Atletico, like, and it took me some time to catch up with everything. This is another thing I wanted to just complain about. These Champions League kickoff times are so annoying because they all overlap with each other, and you can never watch them. And like, a lot of people will come in and be like, dude, just watch them on two different screens. I don't know what kind of psychopaths watch two games at the same time. It's impossible. You can do it if you're a casual fan, but not if you're like trying to like analyze what's happening, or at least be able to objectively talk about it. Anyways, so I just find that hard to do. So what I do is I watch them tape delay. I was I've developed into a somewhat of a Milan fan over the last year or two.
Oh, that's
So
weird.
I'm not like terribly upset that Atletico played the way they did, but I just want to say Atletico were super disappointing. And they have some issues this season that we can unpack. You know, they haven't been as good defensively as we're normally accustomed to. Offensively, they're in certain games they struggle. Like in the Milan game, obviously it doesn't make it easier the fact that João Felix is injured right now, but the fact that they have Correa on the bench, they're not utilizing as much as they should. Suarez can't be relied upon this game in, game out the way Simeone has been relying on him. Also, I hate this Marcos Llorente at right back experiment, especially against Milan, where like he basically has to go and fight Teo Hernandez for 90 minutes. It makes no sense because Teo is just going to be able to. Llorente won't be able to be as effective from that role, especially against a wingback like Teo, who's going to just be constantly trying to get into the final third behind him. Llorente should be in the attack, especially when they're struggling on offense. And I don't understand why, because Lucho played Llorente at right back in the Euros out of nowhere, all of a sudden Simeone was like, oh, I guess I got to play him at right back now. I hate that experiment. And just I don't know. Like I am kind of actually, might be weird to say, but like I almost feel better in Barca's chance of getting to the next round than I do in Atletico's, because I feel like Barca are just in a bit of a more realistic situation with the fact that Bayern are already qualified. Atletico are last place in their group. They have to win against. Do they have to play Liverpool next, or do they have to play?
Yeah.
I mean, in that sense, it is similar because Liverpool.
Sorry, they play Porto. They play Porto, but they depend on Milan, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to beat Porto and hope that Milan lose to Liverpool, which is a kind of a tough ask because, first of all, Porto can beat anyone, they can lose to anyone. They're that kind of like traditional like Champions League team that they can hurt you, they can also have a bad day. They got enough talent. But Milan have to play against Liverpool, who have 15 points. They have not lost a single game or drawn a single game. They're clear as water, and they're going to be guaranteed first place. So you already know like Klopp is going to do that thing where he plays all these bench players like he does in the cup games. It's a tough spot to be in for Atletico. I actually give Barca a better chance, to be honest.
There's no margin of error for them any longer. It's not just that they at least Barca depend on themselves, whereas obviously Atletico don't, and that's the big difference. Yeah, of course, it's going to be complicated. I think we're after come to the realization that two of the three biggest teams in Spain have the odds stacked against them when it comes to qualifying for the knockout stage of the top European competition, and that's not good for Spanish football. I understand that you take issue with the fact that Llorente keeps being played out of position. In that, I mean, you've been complaining about that since Lucho did it. I'm nobody here to start nitpicking or criticizing decisions that the most successful manager in the history of Atletico de Madrid is making when it comes to Llorente, or one of the most talented and also decorated managers in the history of Barca under Lucho is making. Llorente obviously has the space and the ability as well to run up and down on that flank, and whether Teo is too big of a bone to pick for him or not, I guess he needs to step it up. That shouldn't be, I think, an excuse as to why we saw such a underwhelming performance from Atletico against a Milan side that, is on the resurgence maybe somewhat, is playing an interesting style of football, certainly a little bit more attacking, more daring. They've got this, imposing figure that is Ibrahimovic, of course, that likes to also, I guess, shove the Atletico players around, as he did the players from the Spain squad. Was it Azpilicueta, I think it was. Anyway, I mean, the point is, Atletico need to do better. They should have done, and Diego will be shooting himself in the foot now, as you can probably hear my kids ringing the doorbell, hoping that their papa is going to come off of the pod open the door for them.
Reliant on you?
Yes,
Let him in.
No, they have to wait for their mother. They should know better.
Oh,
no,
mom's home?
Well, the thing is, she parks the car in the garage. Hold on. Papa's on the podcast, boys and girls.
This is neglect. I hope your wife's home to let them in.
My son has to pee. My
fort.
son has to pee. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. My wife's a social worker. It's a good thing she's not listening. So here's my prediction. While Diego's gone, I think every single Spanish team will end up qualifying, apart from Atletico. And I know that most of those Spanish teams aren't in a favorable position. But if you look at kind of the scenarios here, Sevilla are third, but their fate is in their hands, because if they beat Salzburg, they will just leapfrog to 2, possibly even 1. Are you back? Okay, you're back. So I was just saying that I had a bold prediction that I was about to explain. I think every Spanish team will qualify for the group stages except for Atletico. And I was just going through them. Sevilla, they have their fate in their hands. They beat Salzburg, they're in. Villarreal, fate in their hands. They're fine. They can even possibly draw and still advance. Then you got Barca, which we've already talked about, and Atletico, which we've already talked about, and Real Madrid are through. I think, there was a little bit of drama, obviously, given the fact that, Spanish teams are where they are after match day 5. But I think in the end we'll have 4 of them into the next round, possibly even 5. But if I had to choose one of them to be eliminated, I think I'm going to go with Atletico.
Has Luis Suarez scored in this group stage so far? I'm putting you on the spot here. You probably
it's absolutely on the spot. I'll look it up in a sec. But either way, you can kind of just see.
It's inexcusable for a team with Suarez, with Griezmann, with Llorente, with Coque, with Hermoso, with Lamar, Felix,
Carrasco,
to walk away from Milan with a 1-0 derrota, with a 1-0 loss. I mean,
Suarez has scored 1 goal in the Champions League this season.
Away?
It was against Milan.
At home, obviously.
Yeah.
So his away goal scoring record in Europe is. I mean, again, I would. It's historically bad. I'm obviously, I'm not taking into account last season. I don't know how many goals he scored in Champions League last season, or but it's worthy of study, I believe, what happens there. I think Atletico's out. I think that's it. I think Villarreal, same as you, have got obviously a very, very good chance to progress. Who are they playing? Atalanta? They've got to win that.
Churros.
Gosh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's not like I had the answer. Right? It is Atalanta, away from home. If they draw that game, they're in.
They've got to do that. Chelsea leapfrogging Juve was interesting as well. Sevilla sitting down there. I mean, come on, man. Are you
enjoying the PSG implosion? They haven't quite imploded yet, but given our expectations this season, it certainly feels like a bit of an implosion. Maybe it's overreactionary, but tactically they're a mess. The front three still don't defend. They're incredibly imbalanced. and you could just see the gap between them and City in more ways than one. It's just a completely different level tactically, physically. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am.
Are you following the Balón de Oro chatter at all?
Do tell.
Oh.
What's on your mind? Like, are you talking about like things leaked or?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit.
Lewandowski winning? It can't be Messi. He's not. He hasn't done enough to deserve it. Can't be. If it is, it's basically they made up their mind because he won the Copa America, because he started crying and they're like, "Wow, that's so cute that his teammate Di Maria won him the cup and now he's crying. He deserves it. We should give him the trophy."
Well, listen,
I put
man.
him third. Honestly, I think he's had a really good calendar year. I think he's had a poor season, just relatively speaking. Certainly not as good as Lewandowski or Benzema. And I think I put him third. I think that's a fair place for him. I'd still put Lewandowski number one, who's just been completely out of his mind in the last 2 years at least with his goals. Just crazy. But I'd go that way. But if that's what it is, it's leaked. I mean, I never really thought the Ballon d'Or voting was completely fair. I think so. It is. I guess it is what it is. I don't know what to do about it.
Big ups to Pedri for winning what was it?
Big loss, by the way, the fact that he's out till 2022. Yeah, he won what, Golden Boy or something?
The Golden Boy. As a golden boy, it's a golden boy. Shoot that gun.
We're at the stage of the podcast where it's like we should probably just call it a day. And
I was hoping that you would recognize.
One by one, they're just jumping off.
Just jumping up. Yeah. Well, okay, fine. All I was gonna say is that he's a golden boy. No, but the golden boy and balls winners could be. Speaking of Manscaped, the golden balls look to be all falling Barca's way, because if Messi wins it, it's obviously for his time with Barca. Okay, in Argentina. And I think was it Jennifer Hermoso or Alexia Putellas that's going to win the golden ball for the ladies, and
well deserved.
Pedri, of course, winning the golden boy. It's not called golden boy, is it? What is it called again?
I don't know. I asked this question. I was talking to Om because he covers Real Madrid Femenino, and I was, because I've been watching Real Madrid Femenino too. I was taking some notes, and I started writing man-to-man press, and then I was like, wait a minute, these aren't men. And I messaged Om. I was like, what do you guys use? And they just say, I think he said, they player to player press or something like that. Something, I don't know, but yeah. I do fall in those traps sometimes. I just like habitualize to call it a certain way, and then I have to retrain my brain.
So yeah, Alexia Putellas it is, and Golden Boy it is. Sorry, go on.
Barca We'd love to hear you. Is probably the most dominant sports team.
It's like insane
all
right
sports.
Now. Yeah.
It's just they're playing on a different planet. They're playing a different sport with. We have to go find them like competition on another galaxy, because it's not cutting it on Earth for them. They're getting bored.
No. You say we're fizzling out. There was still something I wanted to talk to you about.
We haven't talked about Real Madrid yet, but I don't know if there's anything jumping out at you.
No, not really. Who are you playing over the weekend?
We got Sevilla, big game.
Oh, so we got two biggies.
Yeah, two big teams.
Barca, Villarreal,
Sevilla have a lot of injuries right now.
Who doesn't, man? You're preaching to the choir here.
Who doesn't? It'll be an interesting game. I mentioned this we did a podcast yesterday previewing that game, and it feels like it's been so long since Real Madrid have played Sevilla. I barely even remember what it looks like to play them, because we haven't played them since last season. But it just feels like a long time, because it's like we're deep into like almost the end of this side of this, like the first leg of the schedule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just feels like it's been a long time since we played them. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. Hopefully you get your asses handed to you.
It kickstarts a really tough schedule for us. Have you seen our schedule?
No.
All right, you'll enjoy this because
Good.
It's
Hit me
good
with it,
Yeah.
yes.
So we got Sevilla, then Athletic Club, Real Sociedad, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid. So that's 5 games up until December 12th, and then we get Cadiz before the break, and then Athletic Club again. Oh, we play them twice in a month because one of them was this was the rescheduled game.
That's right.
Yeah, and then that's the last day before Christmas break. Christmas break, that means no international football, nothing, right? We actually get a break? I'm looking
Yes.
at it now. God bless.
Not a long one, but it's a week.
It's like a week.
Yeah.
You think like Seferin's gonna come out and be like, actually, hold on, last minute tournament in Qatar. Bring everyone.
Well, there is in January.
It's a 200-minute game. Everybody come.
In January there is.
That's the Saudi one, the Spanish Super Cup, you mean?
Yeah. And check this out, Barca. We're playing Boca the 14th of December.
Is that the Maradona tribute game?
That's what it is.
Maradona tribute game.
Yeah.
The money game.
But no, I just quickly before we say bye-bye, I wanted to know what you make of all this Scottie Pippen hatred towards our man, our dude, the greatest. What's going on with Scottie?
Something's happened to Scottie mentally, man. I don't know what's wrong.
What do you make of it all, though, man? I'm so disappointed. It hurts my heart, truly. It hurts my feelings to hear him talk like this. It's like, dude, you guys were, I know they weren't best buds off the court, but don't, taint your legacy by being so, first of all, very hypocritical, because he'll say one thing now in his book or, for his press run and PR, but he was singing a completely different tune just last year on the First Takes and all those, ESPN shows. It's like, I just don't get why he's going this route and why he's really going out of his way to, in his mind, set the record straight. But all he's doing is just, tearing up this image that we had of the greatest duo that, sports or basketball had ever seen.
I'm super disappointed. I don't like, he's been on this run of bad quotes for a while now, like years. I mean, if you go back to some of his, I think it was ESPN he was working for, just some weird quotes, and everything was always petty against Michael Jordan. Petty. And maybe look, we don't really, I'm not going to sit here and say it was easy to be a co-worker of Michael Jordan, who was not the nicest human being. But, like some of the stuff he's saying, it's. So one of the things he said was, like he said before in the past that LeBron is better, blah, blah, blah. Like this was years ago he said this. He also, and some of the things he's saying is like he's really pissed off about the documentary. And he was saying, I think unnamed players also were not happy about the documentary because it was all about Michael Jordan. I'm like, dude, if anything, it was not enough about Michael Jordan. He is the Bulls. You guys you got an entire episode. Dennis Rodman got an entire episode. What else do you want? It should have been just 300 episodes of just Michael. He's the greatest. He is the greatest. You know what I mean?
No,
I'm obviously exaggerating to make a point, but you can't complain about The Last Dance not being enough about other people when literally the only reason you have 6 titles, not the only reason, but the main reason you have 6 titles, the main reason we even get to see a documentary this cool is because of one human being who was the alpha, who was the greatest. Yeah. And the most interesting, quite frankly, also the most interesting. Yeah. I mean, Dennis Rodman the most is interesting, as well. I actually enjoyed that episode, but it's.
Well, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Scottie there, coming from a family of 12 or 15 kids, and him having to be because his brother getting paralyzed and by a bully. I mean, it was like beaten up, and then there's obviously his father also passing relatively early. He became a breadwinner so early on, and of a family of multiple. I mean, families the size that we can't even start to fathom. Certainly, me, I can't. I have enough with just 2 kids. But, to then blame Jordan for pointing out facts such as signing a very bad contract that even Jerry Reinsdorf rather was telling you at the time before signing, don't sign this deal. It's a very bad contract. You'll get more money if you wait just 1 year, and then still signing it. For Jordan to point out the fact that you did, as a retaliation in that final season of the Last Dance, that 98 season, the Last Dance season, to then wait and sit out the beginning of that season because you're doing your foot surgery out of spite instead of going over the summer, and then calling you selfish for that, which I think it's factual, pointing that out. To then also complain about Jordan pointing out the fact that you didn't want to come off the bench in the timeout in the 94 season because Phil Jackson had, designed the play for Kukoc to hit the clutch and game-winning shot eventually. And then even after now calling Phil Jackson racist for that in the process, it's all this pettiness. And it's just like, Scottie, dude, I had you up here too. Like, Michael obviously is untouchable. And after Michael, it's Sean Kemp for me, okay? But then, you're there, Scottie. You're like in my top 5, if not top 3. Top five. But now you're like, you're just ruining, tarnishing this whole legacy, this whole incredible memory that I had of you and the Bulls, and that you were part of, and a vital player and sidekick in. You were the greatest Robin to have ever played the game, and that's not a knock. You should be proud of that. There are no Batmans. Like, there's just one Batman, and there are no other Michael Jordans. There is only ever going to be one Michael Jordan, and that the exception to the rule, as you called him, like the alpha of all alphas, the king of kings, the goat of goats, right? With everything going for him, from as compelling as he is on and off the pitch, and I just wonder how he would have felt during that time when every day there was media frenzies surrounding Michael Jordan. Why now is he being so spiteful and petty? Because, you know what I mean? It's like...
some people will say it's to sell the book, but I don't think that's a good reason.
Yeah.
But it's not a good reason. It's not... there's other ways to sell a book. But he's Scottie freaking Pippen. He doesn't need any reason to sell a book. He was part of one of the greatest dynasties in sports history. But it is weird to me also because in most cases you see beef settling. Like over time usually heals wounds and brings people together, whether it's Kobe and Shaq or other feuds I can't even think of right now. But it's weird that it's gone the opposite way for this one. And you know what I would love to see? I would love to see a documentary where Michael Jordan holds the tablet and he's just reacting to the Scottie quotes, and he just looks at it and he does that smile, and then he responds. That would be. I'd watch that. That would be a good cash grab for. I think Michael is he's so such a ghost that.
Oh, he's beyond this.
I got excited once. Yeah, he's not going to respond. But I got excited once because I thought I found his Twitter. I was like, oh, he has a Twitter. It was like Jumpman23, but it was just like the Air Jordan brand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like following people on Instagram, to be quite honest. But if there was one person that would absolutely go out of my way to press the follow button for, it'd be him. I just would love to see what he's doing. He's such a cool
Press
guy.
the follow and the alarm bell, the notifications. Every time, as soon as he pops up, it's like, yeah. All right, my friend.
All right, we're done.
This has been good. Rocking the Manscaped. Don't forget to use the promo code Churros, 2 R's, to get 25% off your ball shaving equipment.
And that's only today on Black Friday. Tomorrow it goes back to 20%. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Diego, on Monday, we got to make this work. We're going to be back Monday because we have 2 really big games to talk about. And probably others. I haven't even checked the schedule, but for sure 2 big games, right? Yeah. All right. Have a good weekend.
All right. You
good
too.
luck. Take care.
Peace.